Hey, visual watchers and audio listeners. Real quick before this episode starts, we want to warn you that we are actually going to be raising the volume a little bit more from this episode and on. So if you need to adjust your volume for the next couple episodes, please do. All right, back to this. Back to this episode. Can't make that face on camera, 'cause that would be bad for product stuff.
It's a good thing the camera was on me. Welcome everybody to another episode.
Am I keeping that?
Welcome back to the Uneducation station. I am
Nice. Good shit. Good start. It's been a while.
Oh my god, dude, we are a mess today. But
Nonsense.
I'm obviously here with my buddy Arthur,
I am here. I am Arthur, the buddy.
also known as Anuki, also known as Asian Boy. You guys already know how it is.
Hello. Hello, boy.
Obviously, I am me. Me is Zach.
In case you forgot.
In case you forgot. Well, I mean, there might be some people who are here who have never
That's
watched
fair,
the
that's fair.
podcast before.
Sometimes that happens. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we're just too
Yeah, sometimes I start anime at episode 20.
fair.
I don't.
I mean, if you don't have the time to watch the 13 hours of footage that is going to be up on our channel by that point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
Okay.
Bring us in, Zach. It's
Okay.
been a while. No. I wasn't being malicious. I was just saying, let's bring us in, Zach. Let's do this.
Bring us in.
Let's do this.
So-
Burger King foot lettuce. Number 15. This video was recorded in 2014. This meme is still fresh.
We are from the past.
Tomorrow is Halloween.
So,
This is how we knew this was going to happen. 2014. Hey, Zach, let's do a podcast. That's how we sounded in 14 when we were 14.
sound like Mickey Mouse. Okay.
Hey.
Okay. So, I think it'd be really cool if we just kind of sat down and talked about like a lot of the stuff. Let me try that again. Wow.
Good start.
So I think it'd be kind of cool if instead of just talking about one particular anime, we could talk about the aspects of different shows that we've watched that we've really enjoyed, whether it's like the animation or the music or,
Sure.
you know, anything like that. I
Yeah.
think that'd be really sick.
I think it'd be really sick to see what you have to say because you still have only seen 4, including Your Name.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what you find interesting. We have talked about that already, you know, in tandem with the actual shows themselves, of course, right?
Yeah.
Like the music we enjoy, the animation and stuff we enjoy. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think we could just kind of go through at least my flow chart and just pick
Sure.
out a bunch of different things that we really, really loved about them.
Yeah. This is the summary episode. This
Yeah.
is the recap episode.
Basically. And this
Because it has been quite a while since we visited those animes that you watched. At episode 3, 4, and 5. We are now episode 10 plus. I don't know. 15, 20 plus, wherever we're at right now. I have no clue.
I have no idea either. But yeah, we didn't really have enough time to like go into like the nitty-gritty about specific things about whatever show we were watching. And so I think that would be really dope to
That's
just
fair. That's
to
fair.
just
Yeah, like the technical stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we did talk about it, but like I said, it was in tandem with the meat of the show, the content of the show. So
yeah.
we can definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
Would you like to start us off then?
Okay. I mean, we could just start with Erased.
Sure.
I mean, oh my gosh, dude, the animation style of that show is just so gorgeous.
Yes.
Like even with like the lack of like freshness in my mind, because obviously, you know, we watched it like what, a year ago.
Yeah, at this point, it's been abandoned there, man. Yeah, it's about a year at this point. Might
Yeah.
as well. I mean, we might revisit it. Well, at least you might, because you're gonna maybe watch it with Alec. Maybe.
Yeah. So okay. So for those of you who
missed the last episode.
my buddy Alec was here, and he was talking about how he wanted to get into anime. I mean, he's watched like Attack on Titan and
Hey, to be fair, that's a pretty high title, big title.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's pretty interesting. You know, I feel like a lot of people some people, they don't watch a lot of anime, but they watch the big titles.
Oh, yeah.
Then by that I don't mean like the mainstream stuff like the Naruto and stuff. I think Attack on Titan is a little bit of a different beast than Naruto and the
Right.
Dragon Ball Z's and stuff, because it's not. I mean, maybe I don't know, but I don't remember it airing on like Cartoon Network and Disney and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, I consider it a different beast. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And so Alec was showing some interest in just kind of going through the flow chart and everything like that. And so I decided that I was going to be the Sherpa for this endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd bring him along the flow chart. I don't know if we're going to watch Your Lie in April.
Yeah, I think it might be too early for you to watch the repeat. You need to let it sink in for at least like a year or two.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been a while since I watched it.
Bro, I watched it in 2017, Zach. Or 16, whatever the fuck. I was a young lad and I watched it and I never watched it again. Instead, I just sat there and cried to the OST like forever. I listened to the OST at night and I'd cry to myself.
Okay. I have to say the OST for Your Lie in April is probably the most beautiful like soundtrack for anything that I've seen, just because it
out of everything.
Out of everything.
All right, nice. We got him. Nice.
We got
Good
him.
Shit, we got him.
From an anime.
from a drawing, by the way. And sorry. Go ahead.
So, Your Lie in April, to me, used a lot of.
Sorry, no, don't switch my. Oh, you switched it. G Fuel, by the way. Use code North for 30% off. It might not be 30% anymore. Go ahead. I think I'm supposed to say that. Contractually up. I'm actually not. They're great people. I'm just joking. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, all in good fun. Anyway, so the way that they used different pieces of music to just kind of what?
I'm product placementing, Zach. Keep going.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Audio listeners are so confused right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. So, the way that they used a lot of classical pieces to not only convey emotion, but also they were able to pull and extract the emotion that was originally used in that music, and you know, that was an emotion that they were trying to express. And oh my gosh, dude, the people who actually performed the music did such an amazing job.
Yes.
Because you can, like we were saying in the Your Lie in April episode, I know that if it's been a really long time, and if you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it, because I honestly think that it's one of my favorite episodes that we've done. I think
so too. Yeah, it was very, very. It was the first time I personally have ever sat down and talked about excuse me. I've talked about Your Lie in April like in my streams, and you know, because at that point I had rewatched it,
right.
And then I had, you know, before we ended up doing the Your Lie in April episode, and even after, I did end up started talking about it more, and my thoughts about it after rewatching it, like I said, years afterwards. And I think that's one of my favorite episodes because like I said, I hadn't watched it and rewatched it in years, right? And I had so much to say after seeing it again, because it's basically to summarize the episode 5, I think it was the episode 5 special, I believe. So
yeah.
The Your Lie in April episode. It's that Your Lie in April is very sad, but there is a reason that it's sad, and it's not all just sad. There's a reason for why the topic and the flow went the way it did. I
loved something that you
We're not going to talk spoilers, right, in this episode? No?
No.
Okay,
No.
Yeah. Okay, just going to say that right now. You're chilling.
Yeah.
But don't watch episode 5 if you don't want spoilers of Your Lie in April.
Yeah.
But it's a very good episode. So watch it first. Bring some tissues.
It's a really, really good watch.
Very good. Very good.
It's very good watch.
Yeah.
So one thing that you said, and I loved the way that you said this. I don't know if I'll be able to quote it verbatim.
Let's see it. Here we go. Let's hear it.
You said something along the lines of time moves on and what did you say? Time moves on and it moves on brutally.
Yes.
It stops for no one, and it just constantly continues. And now I probably butchered that, but
No, that's great. That's it. That was it. Yeah, time move. I forget the exact quote myself, but it is, yeah, time moves on brutally, mercilessly. It moves without, it doesn't wait for anybody because it is here for everybody. And it moves for everybody. It doesn't wait for anybody. It's here, it keeps going for everybody. So that's something, that's like, yeah, that was the underlying motif of Your Lie in April for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, actually, no, to be fair, I got that after reading the manga, actually.
Okay.
Because it had been a while since I did watch it, of course, but I did ended up reading the manga. I don't know if I talked about the manga very much during that Your Lie in April episode.
I don't think you
Not going to make this Your Lie in April episode number 2, but basically, I cried during the manga as well. Zach, I mean, these were literally drawings.
Okay.
They don't move, Zach.
Okay, well,
they didn't move. There was no music.
Yeah.
I still cried, very much so. I am a pussy, though. If you go on Webster Dictionary and look up pussy, you find me. Because I cry to everything. I don't care. If it has a little sliver of character development, I'm done for.
I am done.
But no, the manga was very great. I recommend reading it if you I'd say watch it first. The art style is very indicative of it. So they did a really good job of adapting it. The anime that is adapting from the manga, I think that's how usually how it goes. So I assume so. I don't think it was a light novel. That might be a little difficult to do as a light novel, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
But it was a great read, and it was, okay, I'll say it like this. I think the way I did it was great. We've all probably seen Your Lie in April at this point. If you're this far into this podcast, you've probably seen Your Lie in April. I would assume so because we advertise it so much.
It's so worth the advertisement. Like, and I say that because not only is it a beautiful story and it's beautifully done, but also it's one of those shows that really makes you think about like life and youth and like mortality and just like everything.
Yes,
they're
middle schoolers, Zach.
Yeah, they're middle schoolers, and it really is, and that's just from a storytelling aspect, and that's not even talking about how it's created and how it's animated, because they take all of the complex emotions that people are feeling in the show, and they're able to illustrate it and make it so that there's a visible representation of how they're feeling. Or it'll make it so that they are not necessarily explaining, but they make it so that you can understand what's going on.
Yes, for sure.
And you can understand the way that they're feeling, what they're thinking, like, all of that different
emotion
is
a hard thing to convey.
Oh, right.
You know, it's not something, most times it's not something you can say in words, you know? So that's why you have this is a great way to demonstrate it. This is why some authors, mangaka or manga artists, mangaka, why they make stories like this sometimes, because just saying it, I mean, you can. I mean, there's light novel. There's not. I got novels right here. It's definitely possible, but having some pictures, or in the grand scheme of things, an animation, production, all of these sorts of tools. Like I've said it so many times. This is why I love storytelling. Or anime, for example. This is why I love anime. It's because what happens with anime, and this is going back to the topic that you want to bring up, is that it uses all these tools, storytelling. Animation, drawing, sound and design, music, physical labor, physical people, physical things is what I'm trying to say. Physical things to make an imaginary thing come to life. Right. To be able to see something imaginary in the physical world. Right. Because concept and ideas are not physical, tangible, or even sometimes can be described. So we have to use these type of physical mediums to be able to describe it.
Yeah. And when you're able to combine all of these things together to create that story, to create that kind of relationship that you have with a character, and you can start to empathize with that character, you can start to become emotionally invested in that character, and you can see a story being told in front of you that you wouldn't really see in a lot of different types of series or, you know, movies or anything like that.
It's because it's so human.
Yeah,
it feels very human because the characters that they've created, and all the story and such behind and everything that we just taught, literally everything that we described. I'm not going to say it again, but it's created this idea of a character, this idea of this person. Let's say for example, who is the main main character of Your Lie in April.
Right.
He's an idea. He's a character. He's just a
caricature.
A caricature.
Caricature.
Caricature. Wow, nice word. Honors English 3? Nice. Like he's literally, he might just be of some writing, some descriptions on a paper. Black hair, glasses, a little bit to himself. What does that mean to anybody? Doesn't mean anything until you create this character, this drawing, this idea, and you instill it into their head. You create action for them. You create a voice for them, and they now have this personality. And who's to say that he did no longer, or no words, Honors English 2, by the way. He exists. Who's to say he doesn't exist in the real world?
Right.
I mean, no, obviously not tangibly, but he might as well be, because so many physical things were created or were used together to create this character. And now you are able to see him physically with your eyes, you know?
Right.
He's not an idea anymore. He's not in your brain. He's not a concept. You can see him. You can hear him. If it's another character in a manga, you can see him, you can read him, you know his or her emotions, you know how they would think, how they would act.
Right.
Is that not what defines what a human is?
Right. And when you give those human attributes to something that is not necessarily completely tangible, like obviously, you know, when you're watching a show, like they're not like standing in front of you, but they become real enough to where you can start to understand the way that they're feeling. You can understand the rationale for their actions. You can really start to humanize these characters. And when you do it, when they're able to animate a character and when they're able to create a story that you are able to really get emotionally invested in, that's when I think that they're doing it right.
Yes.
Because every single one of the shows that we've watched, you know, like Erased, I loved the character building, the way that they were able to personify like what a normal person would do in that type of situation. And so when he's put in a moment of peril, you know, you really start to understand like, oh shit, like what would I do in that situation? And that's something that we went really in depth on in the episode that we did on Erased. But you know, that's
so go watch the Erased episode of it.
Yeah, go watch the Erased episode, dude. But that was emphasized by the animation. It was emphasized by the sound design, the music, everything. You know, they were able to create such a unique story and make it feel like it could happen in the real world. And they created their own world and gave it rules for the characters to abide by. And even when we were talking about this in the episode, you know, that really, when you're able to not necessarily see the world in a comparison to reality, but when the world that's created has its own rules, then that's when it starts to really make sense.
Yes, that's kind of like No Game, No Life now.
Exactly.
Nice
yeah.
transition, Arthur. Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to say really quick to wrap up my what I was talking about with Your Lie in April in the manga. Okay, really quick. Transition and then break the transition. Segues are weird. The what did I want to say? Yeah, so the manga. The way I did it, I think is the best way. Even though the manga, you know, anime is usually just promotion for the manga or the light novel. Because anime, obviously, 999,999 times out of a million, they don't finish the series. And 999 trillion, okay, you get it, right?
Yeah.
They don't encapsulate what this, or they don't, that number, whatever fraction I just mentioned, a bigger fraction, or slim. Yeah, no, bigger would bigger fraction be smaller, or would it be smaller fraction?
Smaller percentage,
Smaller
bigger fraction.
percentage of a that
Yeah.
of that number usually leaves things out, or because, and this is another part of how animation is created, because there was a director, sometimes the story has changed.
Right.
Sometimes they need to do a little bit of maneuvering to fit enough story into like the 12 or so episodes. Sometimes they like legit change the ending, and that's a little bit of that's a little controversial, but that does happen as well. And first of all, I'll just say I'm not a fan of it, but that's besides the point that I'm trying to make before we go back into transitioning. But we can keep talking about this too afterwards. I watched Your Lie in April however many years ago. If you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, you've probably watched Your Lie in April however many episodes. If you like manga or read the manga, because I think it's hard to read the manga first if you don't understand, especially if you don't understand music at all.
Right.
And which I would assume a lot of people who watch anime aren't exactly as inclined to music as you and I might be.
Yeah.
So definitely being able to have heard their voices, heard the music, even subconsciously, would aid in being able to read something without obviously audio, right?
Yeah.
So definitely do that, and that is quite the experience. The artwork is a little bit, I'll admit, it's a little bit more different than your typical manga art, but it's still very good. And you'll learn to appreciate the art anyways. So definitely give that a read. And then after that, then rewatch it. So now you have to, and pretty good. Actually denying what I said earlier, the anime follows the manga, basically textbook, which is very rare. And it's
sick.
Yes, it's very nice to see. Like, so you're not really going to be missing out. But even if you did, so for in general, even if you did watch an anime, sometimes not that number I said, they usually leave things out or change things. So read the manga, guys. It's a good idea. Maybe you should start reading some manga. I don't know.
I would like to, actually.
Honestly, I can recommend you some. I will say, I will say, I've gotten more into reading manga recently, just because since, as you are aware, I don't have very much time these days
right.
on a lot of things. So I used to just watch anime before I go to bed, a couple episodes here or there.
Right.
Now I've kind of changed that, and now I just read manga because it's a little bit more easier to digest, because you can read at your own pace. If you can go fast or slow. You can turn back a lot easier than skipping back 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes it's what the author intended.
Exactly.
So I would definitely give it a shot. I mean, I'm sure you're not against it. I'm sure you've read some comic books,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure you'd...
oh, yeah.
I'll give you some recommendations. Obviously, you don't have to do it now, but hey, we can have an episode where we talk about manga now. Oh, now we can talk about manga on the show. Oh, I'm so pumped. I love manga. So I'm super pumped.
Yeah, and also I'm really excited to just kind of see the way that the story was originally intended to be told, and just the original concept and all of that kind of stuff. Because when you talk about like trying to create that story, and especially as complex of a story as like Erased or No Game No Life or Your Lie in April, trying to create that world and create that story just using words is very difficult. And you have to be very prolific in describing things and creating that world that would just be in your head instead of like a tangible thing that you're able to see.
For sure.
So that's really, really cool.
Yes, I agree. So there's this show. You probably don't want to watch it. It's okay. I watched it, so you don't have to.
Oh God.
I won't say what it's about, but you guys know what it's about, so it's okay. This is a show called Ordemo. Anyways, long story short, good show. I don't want to hear it. All right. Anyways, it's kind of yikes, but it's okay. The only reason why I bring it up is because there's an example of that, of direction being kind of being different from what the author intended. Because Was it an Oremo? I think it was an Oremo. It's been so long since I've watched it. It's kind of an older one, so I can't really remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. So one of the scenes is very brief, so it doesn't encapsulate the entire anime. So it was just a very brief scene, but basically the girl, she gets like her story. I think it's a novel. I think she gets her story, or her story gets an anime adaptation. She's going to meet with the director, and the director wants to change like basically everything. And then she gets upset. Naturally so, right?
As you would.
You would, right? And that's something that actually happens quite a bit. I can't say from experience, but I can assume that happens quite a bit. Two, I'm like 99% sure because I'm in the space a little, I'm in the space I've read here and there, but I can't necessarily say I've been there to see it, so take my word with a grain of salt. But it does happen, and naturally so, you would get upset about that.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of how that might go, and that's a good example of how direction might change. And I mean, to be fair, we've seen movies, directors are important, directors role is very, very much so, for the benefit, or usually at least for the benefit of the show and the benefit of the movie and the benefit of whatever cinematic thing that they're directing, right? Their role, it plays very important in their direction, and they're able to, bring out something that out of the actors, out of their dialogue, out of the scene that a crew might not be able to. So they are important. I'm not saying that, but it is a little bit scary when you have your story that you've created and you love it and it's your baby, and then they want to change everything,
Yeah.
So that is that might sound like kind of scummy. Like now you might view some anime a little bit differently, but it does happen, and you should know that. And that's why you should always read the manga, because anime is promotion for the manga. Anime is promotion for the light novel. So that's why I always say to read the manga afterwards, if you want to, of course. I mean, it's basically like rewatching the show, so it is quite a bit of time consumption. But if you like the anime a lot and it ends maybe in 12 episodes, and you check the manga, it probably has like 100 chapters, and it's still going.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I always say read. That's how I always get into manga. I don't know how this turned into a manga episode.
I don't know either.
But
it is really cool though when you hear about those shows or those movies that are adapted from a book series, whether it's manga or just a book series.
Yes.
It's really cool when you have that kind of collaboration between the author of the novels and the directors and the people who are trying to write the
yes,
write
for
a show.
For sure. I'm not trying to belittle that.
Oh yeah,
it's very important, but it is there's something to understand. Sometimes that direction might change, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. When you do kind of see those changes, though, it's really unfortunate because the author spent so much time and effort creating and crafting the story, and then the directors are like, I don't like that. But
then why'd you adapt my manga? Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes, but
Yeah, it's like if you wanted me to give you the story that I wrote so that you can create something with the story that I wrote, you would think that they would want to use the story that I wrote to create the fucking show.
Okay, to be fair, let me rephrase that. Even though that does happen, the author is still there to work with the anime alongside the director.
Oh, okay.
So it's not completely just backhanded well, it is, but it's not completely just like industry, suitcase, tie, necktie, boardroom meetings.
Right. So it's not just some...
It's not just like, and then like manhandling, get fucked, and then here's my PowerPoint. No, it's usually they would, at least I think usually, at least in the instances that I've heard of, they usually do work in tandem with each other. So even if the story does have to change, the author is there.
Okay.
So it's not completely bullshit.
As you would hope.
I would hope so. I would hope so, but I don't know. Of course, like I said, I'm not there, but I think so. Nice.
Continuity errors.
Continuity errors, great. I wish I flipped your camera while that was happening, but now it's a new day. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a new day. We're still here. Go ahead.
How did that happen? That was
Audio
such a
listeners are so confused.
Audio listeners are so confused. My hat's backwards. I'm a gangster. I hate my life.
Yeah, put the hat back. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go. No, everything makes sense now. Everything's fine. It's fine. Everything's
the
fine.
timelines are correct now.
Yeah, the timelines are corrected. Anyways, we get distracted so
we do
easy.
get distracted.
I think that's the copious amounts of caffeine that we have in our system at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did stream for 8 hours until like 4 in the morning. So I am a little bit, I'm kind of like, woo. No, but I am a little bit tired, but that's okay because good thing I have G Fuel, of which you can use code North for 10 to 30% off. I think is usually how it goes. Sometimes you just make sure you check the Twitter and see if there is a bigger sale. Shit gets crazy. Take another sip. I didn't get your camera.
It's gone.
You finished it?
I finished it.
Wow, because it's that good. That's crazy. Okay.
Oh my god.
I do like it though. I'm being sarcastic for funny reasons, but I do.
Yeah.
We do enjoy the beverage.
Yeah, it's so funny when like even before all of the North stuff, like we're
still drinking G Fuel.
we were still drinking G Fuel, and that was when we were working on video projects together. Like when I would come over to help you shoot like a PC build or something, you would be like, "All right, dude, we're grabbing the G Fuel. Let's do this shit." Yeah,
let's go. Because it's like, so energy drinks. This is a weird tangent.
How did we get here?
Energy drinks, first of all, they're bad for you. We all know this.
Of course.
It's if you drink energy drinks, you know what you're getting into.
Right.
So understand that caffeine is a drug. So I think technically is right. Technically, it's a drug to me.
Yeah.
It's in essence, it's a drug. Anyways, that's besides the point. I don't really like energy drinks except Red Bull, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know. I really love Red Bull. Other energy drinks, I'm not the biggest. Not that they're. Well, okay. Sorry, we can no longer be sponsored by any other energy drink by Red Bull because I said that. But that's okay. Because I would rather only be sponsored by Red Bull. Get fucked. Get fucked. No, I'm just kidding. But I usually only drink Red Bull, but I'm trying to quit because obviously, like I said, it's bad for you and it's bad for your system, especially now that I am getting old people now. I'm turning into old people.
Shut up, dude. You're 21.
Well, I'm no longer a child, of which my body is just taking the energy drinks and just vanishing it into existence. Now it's kind of part of me, right? If I take a sip, right?
Right.
And that's just kind of what happens. It no longer just vanishes into thin air while you're going through puberty, because that's just how being youth works. But what I'm trying to get at is, this is a G Fuel ad? What the fuck? What I'm trying to get at is, you can drink coffee and tea, and I love coffee and tea. And so that's just another way to get caffeine. And this is also another way to get caffeine. And it's great. So fuck it, why not?
And
it's very simple. You pour the powder and you shake the water, Zach. Pour the water. It's not that hard.
Pour in the water.
Pour in the water and shake the cup.
Pour the water in the powder.
Put the powder in the water. Water in the powder?
Powder in the water. I don't know what's happening. So the cool thing that I've found especially with companies that are trying to make more healthy ways to get caffeine and certain vitamins and those types of things is that they're not really going for the like crack cocaine, like literally liquid crack. Yeah. It's become a lot more of like using natural supplements, using natural vitamins and natural sources of caffeine.
Yes.
So that it's a little bit better. Obviously, having caffeine in your system 24/7 like I have for the last like 12 years is not necessarily good for you. But with that being said, there are better ways to do that instead of, cracking open a oh my gosh, what were they called? Red lines? Do you remember those?
Red lines. Do I? I wasn't really into the. I exclusively drank Red Bull, so I don't think I know.
So
Redlines.
Red Line is an energy drink. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, but
I'm scared.
it came in like a tiny little like 8-ounce thing, and there was a line in the middle of it. It was 2 servings.
Oh my lord!
It was 2 servings.
Oh.
And I accidentally
Oh.
drank the entire thing,
Oh.
and I was awake for 36 hours.
I wish I had that when I was in red. Fuck. I'm just joking. That's bad, but if they don't sell it, then that's good. If they don't sell you, I don't know. If you want to sponsor us, I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
All right, you look it up,
Mhm.
dude. Why did they sell Kickstarts in our school?
Wait,
Why did they sell energy drinks to high schoolers in vending machines?
that is such a good question.
Now,
actually.
Kickstarts weren't exactly the most abominable energy drink, but they were still energy drinks nonetheless. And because in our school the soda machines were just broken 24/7 for whatever reason, they just never, either they were out of stock. I don't. You know what? In thinking back, they probably just ran out of soda, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay." But our school sold Mountain Dew Kickstarts, right? Yeah, that's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Kickstarts in vending machines and stocked regularly. So imagine a bunch of high schoolers who many of them have never had energy drinks before.
Start drinking
Energy drinks.
Yeah.
And it's so readily available. And
Yeah.
they're only like $1. Or they weren't $2. They're like $1.50, I think.
That's so right. Oh, dude.
That's so bad.
The worst part is that this was like, we went to high school during the time where everyone was kind of freaking out about like, oh, we need healthy things. And so we didn't have a lot of things that you should have.
Yeah,
at a
they were
school.
fighting for that because that was during when like I think it was Michelle Obama who was trying to force that, right?
Yep.
Yes. So that we were during that. So that wasn't happening quite yet. I don't know how the lunches fare now. I will say they were bad.
They weren't bad.
In the grand scheme of things, I'd say they weren't as bad as like the stereotypical lunches you see in like cinemas or movies and TV shows and stuff.
Right.
They were, well, I don't know. That cheeseburger is kind of sus, but I don't know.
That, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, dude, that cheeseburger was really sus.
I don't know, man. That was pretty. You know what? The lunch ladies were nice. The lunch ladies were very nice.
They were very nice.
They were very nice. I always had the Asian food. Of course I did. But they called it chopsticks. Dude, why? That's so racist. They called the Asian food in our school chopsticks, like the chopsticks area, because of course they did. And I always ate there, and I always got the yakisoba and the teriyaki chicken and vegetables.
Was there yakisoba actually?
There was
good?
yakisoba, yeah.
Was it actually good?
Yeah, it was not bad.
Hmm.
I will say I did drench it in sriracha.
Because, like, of course you would.
Because of course I would. But I mean, they watered down the sriracha, so it's whatever. It doesn't matter. That's why I drenched it, because it didn't do shit. But you know, it was good though. It was good. I always got that. And I did I say this already? I don't know if I did. I'll say it again. Fuck it. Because that lunch lady deserves a shout out. This one lunch, actually no, both of them actually. There was 2 lunch ladies that always worked there. I mean, there was sometimes different, but whenever those 2 worked there, they always. First of all, I love lunch ladies. They deserve so much more.
Oh my gosh.
They
I
should be
know.
paid a fortune. I don't know what they're paid, but I'm sure they're underpaid. If looking back, I think they were a very pivotal point in me staying happy in high school. Just because they were always happy.
That is actually so true. Like, if you sit down and think about like the way that other people having a positive attitude can have like a direct impact on you. Like, I never really thought about that until you mentioned it, but those lunch ladies, man, they were so happy for literally no reason. And it's the best thing ever.
I'm going to show you this meme.
I'm ready for it.
Or not. I'll you know what? I'll put it on screen. Fuck it. I'll try to remember. If I remember in the editing, I'll put it on screen. But you probably already seen this. This is so wholesome.
That's so good.
It's so wholesome.
That's so good.
You know, I'll just do it like this. Fuck it. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, whatever. I'll if I remember, I'll put it on screen. But I'm sure you've seen it. It's made its rounds on the Twitter and Reddit, so I'm sure you've seen it. It's so wholesome. Grab a fruit. They're so happy, Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they were happy. I think they were, honestly. They're probably. I would hope so. They were still happy off work, but they were genuinely like a pivotal point in me staying motivated during school and being happy, because they looked out for you.
They wanted you to have your fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, they wanted you to have your fruits and vegetables. Grab a fruit, grab an apple with that. Even if you don't eat it, just grab it, because you might eat it.
That was the best part. They were like, we don't really care if you eat it. We just want to have the option available for you.
Yeah, even if you eat it, you'll feel great. If you don't, that's okay. But hopefully you eat it. But I always got my vegetables, because I was actually a very picky eater. Like I
used to be so picky.
No, dude, I refused fruits too, and vegetable. Like fruits. I wouldn't even eat apples, banana, oranges, none of that. Growing up. Why? Because I was a little shit. And if I could go back in time and watch me go through my plate and picking off the vegetables and stuff, I would probably roundhouse kick me. Like, yeah, like that. Except with my feet.
With my feet.
Yes. And then I'll be my younger self will be like, oh, what's happening? But no, I was so picky, and looking back, I want to say it's just the kid in me, because all kids don't like vegetables to an extent. I mean, some kids do. Some of my younger cousins, they like vegetables. I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah,
dude, I couldn't stand vegetables, but now I do. During high school, I think I just kind of got over it, and I was like, I'll just eat it. I still am not the biggest fan, but I'll eat it. It's on my plate. I'll say this though: if you eat a salad, you're a pussy. Do you eat salad, Zach? Be honest. Be honest.
There are only like 2 types of salads that I like to eat, because I'm a little bit picky.
No, actually, salads are good. But if you only order a salad,
never. I have never ordered a salad as an entree in my entire life.
Order a salad as an entree, you're a pussy. I don't care if you're vegetarian. You're putting. I'm semi joking. I'm only half joking. Okay, I still feel about that.
I will admit, hanging out with you a lot when I was younger helped me not be as much of a picky eater by like a lot, because the way that our families ate obviously was entirely different. So anytime I would come over here for dinner, I would be trying something that I never had seen before. And so I think that was a part of it too. And also that's probably the reason why I love homemade like Asian food.
Yeah, well, I will say, not to pat my culture on the back, but I think Asians do vegetables pretty well.
They do. Steamed broccoli. I love steamed broccoli for some reason. And like, oh God, was it yakisoba or
well, yakisoba is in noodles. It's fried noodles.
Oh, it was pho. Dude, I was so like, it opened my eyes to like the way that things could taste, because I was so young when I first tried it.
Yeah.
And
nobody ever thinks to have like beef broth, but beef is really good.
And no one thinks that the beef broth is going to be freaking bussin'. Like, literally, I'm not even joking. Like, just imagine little middle school Zach with, him struggling to use chopsticks and that unnecessarily large spoon to slurp on the broth.
There's a reason it's large, Zach, because the broth is fire.
Because the broth is fire. Yeah, and I was over for dinner. I think there was like some thing going on and the entire family was there. Oh, it was at your It was at your grandparents' house, I think.
It was, yes.
Yeah. So I was at your grandparents' house.
And I remember this too. I remember the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do we remember this so vividly? I have no idea, but that's okay. It's fine. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, it's so funny because something like that seems like it would just be so mundane. Like, oh, you tried pho. That's cool. Wow. But like, for me, that was kind of like the moment when I realized, like, just because I haven't had something, that doesn't mean that it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And just because there may be certain things that I might not be a huge fan of, maybe they mix with other things really well.
Yes.
Maybe you've been preparing something wrong, or maybe, you hadn't had the best of what that could potentially be.
Yes.
And now, I become a lot less picky with what I eat, and I'll always try something at least once. Like, I've had the most weird shit. Like, I've had escargot, I've had chicken's feet, I've had like just a whole bunch.
I always say I'll try anything once.
Yeah.
No, I will say Asian food gets pretty even I'll admit it gets pretty exotic, I guess is the right way to say. Because yeah, like, chicken feet, you might be like, huh? Come again? And frankly, I'm not the biggest fan of chicken feet either, but when prepared right with the right dish, you can eat it,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's excuse me, it is that kind of weirdness factor and strange factor that adds a bit to the experience.
Right.
I'm not going to make the joke I usually make in my streams because it's probably a little bit inappropriate, but sometimes you need a little bit of strange in your life to spice it up a little bit, because if you eat the same foods every now, if you just eat top ramen
and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
and unseasoned chicken,
why?
Zach, that's your people.
Yeah, I know, but I don't speak for my people, Arthur.
Why do they do that, Zach?
I have no idea.
Let me just put the chicken in the oven. That'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, you've had dinner at my house.
Your food is not like that. Your mom's cooking is great. If you're watching this, Mama Zach, your cooking was fantastic. I would love to have dinner with you again.
Dude, you should come over for dinner sometime.
Dude, I'd love that.
Like, just randomly one day, like if I know that we're having something good, I'll be like, hey, Arthur, why don't you come over for dinner after you get off work or something?
If I have time, I'll try. That's maybe. I don't know. But I mean, I feel like we just hang out at that point. So we'll see.
I mean, it's so funny because I see you all the time, but it's always just kind of like work related,
Yeah.
And we don't.
We're just business colleagues. We're not really friends. This is strictly business.
We are just in a business venture together, and that's all that this is.
That's all this is. We're not. These are fabricated stories. I'm reading them from my iPad.
Yeah,
this is a scripted podcast. It's pre-recorded.
Heavily edited.
Tomorrow is Halloween.
If this comes out before Halloween, well, it's gonna come out.
It might actually come out. Wait, you know what? Now that I think about it, this episode is so long, or recorded. So never mind. We're not gonna be meta. Anyways, try different foods, y'all. Where were we talking about?
We were talking about anime, and then we started talking about food because both of us are hungry.
Yeah, we are both hungry.
But
you know what? This kind of ties into anime. Try new things.
Yeah, it can tie to a lot of different things because being picky doesn't necessarily have to just be about food. It can be about the movies you watch. It could be about the music that you listen to. It could be about literally everything and anything. And one thing that I've prided myself in is that I've been, at least as I've gotten older, I've been very open-minded to new things, to listening to new types of music, watching different types of TV shows and anime and all that kind of stuff, and trying new food. And so, I think that if you just kind of spice things up a little bit, try something new, it doesn't necessarily have to be food related. It could just be like, listen to a genre of music that you've never listened to before.
Or even in that aspect, try it, maybe try learning an instrument.
Yeah.
Like a guitar. You can buy a cheap guitar nowadays for like $100 or so.
Yeah, and there's an app for that.
Are you talking about those ads?
Yeah.
Of course we're talking about those ads. There was probably an ad before this. Simply Piano. I learned piano in 5 seconds.
45 seconds.
45 seconds I learned piano from this crazy app. I know extended music theory after playing and using Simply Piano for 10 minutes. Have you ever used that app?
No,
do you
I
feel
haven't
about that
used
app?
that app. I don't. I mean, it. For me, it's just kind of like, cool. I mean, it teaches
I'm
you
not,
songs,
yeah,
but like,
it does teach you songs. I will say, I guess it's better than just like learning piano from waterfall synthesias in a way, just because you get exposed to sheet music.
yeah,
In a way.
in a way. I
a
mean,
way.
if you're able to just kind of mix, things together to make it so that you're not just looking at like, I need to play G C A. You know, it's more of like,
Well, it's not a super extensive music theory type of app. It's just for the common person who just so happens to have a guitar laying around or a piano laying around, as
Yeah.
one might.
as one might.
As yeah, a couple guys like us have a
Couple
piano
guys like
laying
us.
around.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude.
they just want to play piano. I mean, I have this friend who I don't talk to anymore, and I don't even remember his name, but I consider him a friend because I'd mentioned before in college where I had this piano group, right? Have I mentioned it in the podcast?
No,
I have
think so.
not. Wow. So the only reason why I ever went to university, the only reason why I even cared to go to keep going to university for the 2 years that I did, is because campus life. And specifically, there was this so in my campus, I've said it in my streams, but yeah, if I haven't said it in the show yet, then sure, I'll go for it. There was a Yamaha C1, I think it was a baby, like a 5'10" Yamaha baby grand in a lecture hall, tuned like bi-decadely. The bench was squeaky, you know. They didn't care, but it was a grand piano, and that was not my first time ever being exposed to an acoustic grand, because actually that would be in high school.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
we had I forget which one it was, but it was a grand. It was a baby grand, and that was my first time, and I was like, wow, this is fucking goated.
No, I'm pretty sure the grand that we had at our high school was like a full size grand, because it is huge.
It's Andy. Shout out to Andy. Andy's just yoked now.
That's sick.
It's so funny. Anyways, Andy's our friend. He was a skinny lad, and now he is still a skinny lad, but a skinny lad with air lats. I love you, Andy. Anyways, he said, I asked him because he's a theater boy, and I asked him if I could play the grand, and he was like, yeah, I can set it up, and he set it up for me, and we played it during a lunch break, and it was a lot of fun.
Dude, I cannot tell you how much time I spent in that auditorium. Like, I spent so much time in there just like for prepping for performances. I had a class in there.
Mm-hmm.
I took dance class because I didn't want to do PE because I was a nerd. And it was just a whole bunch of different stuff that I was spending my time in there doing.
I really regret never taking advantage of the fact that we had a fucking grand piano,
Right?
or even like the upright that was in the choir room, because there was an upright piano in the choir room as well, which is acoustic, marginally better than anything that would be electric. And
So, Arthur, I'm going to tell you right now,
yes,
there was an upright in the band room, the choir room, and in every single practice room.
yeah,
So,
I remember that because
Okay.
I visited, and yeah, I was learning piano during high school. Why did it never click in my head that maybe I should come hang out over here and play the piano?
yeah.
Maybe I should do that. No, I was just like, fuck, I hope my friends don't think I'm weird. No, my camera!
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Everything is fine. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I
Nothing
don't know what you're
happened.
talking
You
about.
don't-
I'm
you-
just going to walk
I'm
away
just
and
gonna-
nothing's going to
I'm
happen.
going to keep talking. Audio listeners are so confused right now. No, yeah, nothing happened. I just
I don't
might have
know.
moved in the lateral direction, but that's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
Nothing changed. I'm just gonna nonchalantly lower my chair, but for no reason. I just want to lower my chair. I just want to lower my chair for no reason in particular.
For no reason.
I just felt like it, and I'm also gonna scoop forward for no reason in particular.
And that totally has nothing to do with anything that just happened whatsoever.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. We're just tangenting. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So
Yeah.
why did I not play those fucking pianos, Zach? Even obviously not the grand, because you have to pull it out of the coffin and that type of stuff. but we had acoustic pianos just there, man. I mean, I don't know if would they have let me just play it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there was a lot of times.
I mean,
where,
obviously, if you're practicing, you know, they're like, Arthur, fuck off.
Yeah.
But I think the choir room was like almost always empty, unless they were actually class or practicing.
Yeah, the choir room. I did a lot of really funny things in the choir room. Like,
Can you admit to it or on the
show? Yeah. So.
Who, are you shooting heroin in the corner? Or?
No. I was not the type of person who would do drugs in the choir room. That was
it's a very specific label.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Josh. He's always shooting heroin in the choir room. That Josh.
If your name's Josh and you don't shoot up heroin, I'm sorry. That was a false representation of you. But if your name is Josh and you do shoot up heroin
in a choir room,
in the corner,
you know what? Shout out to you. Because you've fit this super specific niche. I mean, stop it, but shout out.
Yeah.
To you, Josh, who shoots up heroin in the choir room. But you should stop. You should see. Keep going.
Yeah,
Zach.
you should really go to rehab or something.
Proceed.
Yeah. So
you did meth instead.
Yeah.
More classy.
Yeah, no, that's way less classy, dude. That is like bottom of the barrel, like I'll do anything for $10. Bottom of the barrel. So what I would do in the choir room is I would build the biggest drum set that I could possibly make with Alex and a bunch of other people who were in band. And I'm pretty sure Jackson too. I'm pretty sure we would all just make this Frankenstein's monster with like 12 toms, and it was just absolute chaos.
That sounds like chaos.
Yeah, it was the greatest thing ever. And also, we figured out how to hook up our phones to the Bluetooth speaker system in the band room, and it was amazing. It was great. We would play like the Monsters Inc. theme, the ear rape one.
The peak of the Monsters ear rape meme was when we were in high school. And that's so funny. I think the start of the ear rape memes were when we were in high school. Yeah.
You're so right, actually.
Or maybe even middle school, but in our age, in our generation, that's when we were dank memes. That was us.
That was us.
That was us. You're welcome, meme culture of today.
It all started when Pepe was not a symbol of racism. DMCA.
Ah! Don't worry, they didn't catch that. You know what? I'm gonna go in editing and I'm gonna peek that.
What?
I'm gonna peek it. I'm not gonna actually. Audio listeners would be not only confused but disappointed
and in pain.
Anyways, yeah, I should have went to the choir room. I should have stopped being a weirdo who cared about my social anxieties and my social hierarchy place.
Dude, the thing that really makes me sad is that there's so many things that I should have done in high school.
Okay, well, everybody says that.
Well, no,
but we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know that none of it matters, and literally everything that you do in high school is just gonna be a distant memory when you're gone. But man, dude, I wish I would have played piano more, because I started playing piano when I was like 6 years old, you know, and so obviously there was kind of that moment where I was like, oh, it would be fun to, like, you know, I would play the Heart and Souls and piss off the people.
Everybody played Heart, bro, and everybody was so upset. I found it funny. I don't know why everybody was so upset. Every time I during that day when I was playing that grand piano, I played Heart and Souls because of course I did. I played Heart and Souls, and there were people in the auditorium listening to me at the time. And then I was going for it, and then people were like, really?
Yeah, because that's one of those songs that's just completely overplayed, and like
I find it funny. No, you know what? Have you heard the original version?
Yes, I have. It's
so jazzy. I love it. It's so great. I want to learn it because fuck it. No, but if you play, I mean, if you just do the do, then it's boring, you know. But you can. It's such an easy 4-chord song that you can just go wherever with it and play with it. So I think if you do that, that'd be way more. It's way more fun. But if you just do the and you get your friend to go on the other hand. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, fuck! Ah! Yuki no shita, you're okay. Anyways, we're gonna have your heart. You're gonna have a. We're gonna have a. Oh God, my brain. Oh, it just discombobulated.
Discombobulate.
Grab the neck. Discombobulate. We'll have a heart and soul session after this, because of course we will.
And then we will improv in the key of C.
And I'll record it and put it on Twitter. I won't. Maybe I don't know. That was cool.
That'd be kind of funny.
It'd be funny. Anyways, what we're talking about? Yeah, we took high school for granted.
Yeah, we did.
Is this a tangent we want to? Yeah, we'll go on this tangent. Fuck, we got time.
Yeah. Okay.
We got time. Let's go for it. I was talking about this in stream the other day. I mean, obviously, this is gonna be very, very far into the future. So if you're seeing this, shout out to you. But I was talking with someone in my chat, because they are entering their sophomore year in high school. I think is what they said. I won't say names in case you don't want to,
Done. Yeah.
But he was entering his sophomore year in high school, and he wanted to know how he stay motivated in high school. And to which I said, bro, high school is so fucking easy. What do you mean? In essence, obviously it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but at the same time, if you just put like that much effort in, you'll be fine.
After experiencing university and real work experience and real life experience, high school is not shit.
That is true.
That is why I say high school is easy. Obviously, it's time consuming, and you need to put in the work to do so to graduate. But to graduate high school is I cannot stress this enough. So much easier than working in the real world.
Yeah,
because it's so gamified, where all you have to do is participate and listen a little bit and take a couple notes, and you'll graduate.
And play.
Now, obviously, I think you did too. Like we both were almost not able to graduate.
Yeah.
So in that sense, obviously, it takes a lot of work, it takes dedication and motivation for sure. But after being in, this is why I wanted to say it so much, is because in retrospect, high school was not that hard after experiencing university, after you experiencing veterinarian school.
Right.
After you and I working in the real world field, doing real world on-site jobs, whether that be part-time jobs or actual, photography, videography, me doing editing for 6 years and that type of stuff. I consider that to be field work. High school was nothing compared to that. And I don't care what you say, because that's the reason why I want to nail that or hammer that nail so hard, because we thought it was hard.
Right. And I mean, there's nothing more stressful than being in the situation that you and I were in, where it felt like we weren't going to graduate, and just knowing like, if I don't do this, then I'm fucked. Like, I literally found out that I was graduating. Like, our graduation was on a Tuesday. I found out the Friday before.
Yeah, it's scary. It really is. But I don't want it to be scary for the greater audience that may be high schoolers or middle schoolers or anything below. Because
I mean, this is kind of like a little bit more adult-oriented show, but at the same time, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're boomers.
We're boomers.
We're boomers. But because we're boomers, we do the boomer talk, and it's that kids need to not take for granted that they are kids, and the experiences that they have are very important. What are you doing?
Oh, there was a little speck on my microphone, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and it was bothering me.
Okay,
but
well, yeah.
I definitely agree with the sentiment that you...
I just don't want them to make the wrong... Yeah, I don't want them to make the wrong choices, but I also don't want them to take it for granted what experience they have and what experience they're missing out on. I don't want them to think poorly of what high school is, because to be fair, and this, I'm still going to save this for the I almost said sex education. Sorry, my bad. The educational system episode.
That's going to be a fun one.
I might have to have a drink for that one.
Oh God, me too, actually.
We're going to save it, but in general, the way high school was made. So I'm just going to reiterate what I said in the stream, because I still feel that way, of course. High school seems mendokusai. It seems annoying, bothersome. I want to do this, I want to do that, I don't want to be here in school, you know. And these days, as I always say, you know, you don't have to go to school to be successful. But high school, I feel like, is the very last bit of school you really need.
Yeah.
I feel like not just because it's not because high school, what it is, I'm not going to say it's not, because it is a memory game.
Oh yeah.
It's a memory
100%.
game. It's Go Fish. That's what it is. High school, except it's shit. And Go Fish is fun.
Yeah.
Usually. With a couple drinks is fun. Anyways, you can't have a couple drinks in school.
Well, I knew those people.
That did I did too. Anyways, it is a memory game, and it's unfortunate that it is, but that's just the way it's structured, because it is a memory game, you just gamify it, and then you'll graduate, and that is the point of what I'm making of why it's easy to graduate, because just do the work and you'll graduate. It's not fun. It's a lot of work. But you do the work and you graduate. Hence the premise of a memory game. You know, you pay attention, and you remember which cards are which, and then you'll win at some point, or you'll make those matches, and you might lose.
Right.
You might not graduate with straight A's, but you'll graduate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and
yes.
The people who try so hard to make the honors list or the dean's list or anything like that. I don't think is there a dean's list in high school?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe, possibly.
I don't
know.
But there are those awards and stuff like that. But yes, those do exist for those who have the higher GPAs and such.
Yeah. And for those people, I mean, you know, you go for it. Like,
yes,
that's all you, boo-boo.
Yes, that's great.
But at the same time, you know, there are minimum requirements for a reason, and that's for the people who have trouble sitting down for 8 hours a day and just focusing on one thing. And I was definitely one of those people, and you know, it was very difficult for me to concentrate, but I found ways around it, and I found ways to make it so that I didn't have to worry about, like, how am I going to sit here for 8 hours? And like,
yes.
I'm like hardcore fidgety ADHD type. Like, that's just kind of how I am. And so sitting down even for like an hour at a time, you know, it gets a little tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's why you'll see me, you know, moving around a lot, doing a lot of weird fidgety stuff, and like,
yeah, I definitely developed a lot of fidgety type stuff, like tapping my fingers, or the classic the leg up and down leg. I'm doing it right now. Now that I realize I'm doing it right now, I developed a lot of tendency, because you're just sitting there for an hour for each class for 6 or 7 hours plus, just dead. But you're forced to pay attention, and it's hard. It really is hard, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not. Like, if you do it, you'll be fine. If you can power through it, and a lot of life is about powering through things. But it is because that it does end up being a memory game that it sucks. But here's the thing, and I will always remember this. Do you remember the freshman history teacher? He was also a basketball coach.
Yeah.
And whenever you met him, you shook his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever had a class with him, but
wasn't he the really, really tall one?
No, I mean, he was tall, but not the really, really. I know what you're talking about. Not him. He was. I'm not gonna say his name. Started with a Z, though.
Oh yeah.
Yes. All right, cool. So what was it, world history? I don't know. I think it was world history. Yeah, I don't know. He taught history. All right. He was probably the most pivotal teacher I've ever had in high school. Now, the reason why I say this is not because the other teachers sucked. No, they were great. They were fantastic.
Right.
But the reason is that he instilled a very important lesson to me, and it's that. So before I get into it, going back to like the whole dean's list and the awards things, you know, getting the nice GPAs, those are great. And if you can do that, you should go for it. If you have the ability and you have the drive, do it, because it looks very good on paper. You'll be very successful. You know, it's all good. And if you have the mental capacity and the willpower and the strength to do it, then you should do it, right?
Right.
But there's a reason why it's an award, and there's a reason why not everybody can get it.
Right.
It's because it's a very high bar. And I'm not talking about the valedictorian where you get straight A's. I'm even talking about the principals, honor rolls, the honor rolls, you know, where you get 3.5 plus, I think, in America. I don't know if it's different in other regions, but in America, at least, that's how 4.0 is the highest, and then it scales downwards from there. 3.5 being the first award you'd get academically, I think. So you'd have to get at least 3.5 to get some sort of academic record, I believe. I don't know specifically. Frankly, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. I mean you're talking to someone who literally had like a 2.5 GPA.
Right, exactly. And you graduated.
Yeah, I graduated.
So this is the point I'm trying to make. School seems, whether the teachers or them think that they're not, they are, because we're part of the system, and we realize that that's how it ended up being. School is made so that you are heavily encouraged to get that straight A, or that 3.5, or that 3.0 above there. And they might say, no, it's not. It is, because we did that for 4 years. They might think they're not, but that's what they're doing, whether they be inadvertently or not. That's what ended up happening. So what happens is you get a bunch of kids who think they don't have the straight A's or the B's, and they think they're inferior, or they think, you know, they are these other guys are getting really good grades, and this is where demotivation happens. You know, if you're being demotivated, even if you don't care about academics, you are in an academic environment, so naturally you're going to care a little bit. Right. So the greatest, this is my point. The greatest advice I've ever gotten from this teacher, Mr. Z, I'll say, is that he structured his class the opposite of that. Not the opposite, the way it's supposed to be. He structured all of his curriculum to be based on you getting a C. You are expected, if you do the work, you'll get a C. If you do good, you will get a C. If you do very good, you get a B. If you do exceptional, you get an A. Because what is a C? What does a C mean, Zach?
Passing.
What does a C also mean? Average.
Average, yeah.
And how many times have I said it, Zach? You are not special. Get fucked. I am not special either.
Right.
We are average people, but we have special traits within ourselves, and you are good at things that I'm not good at, and I'm good at things that you're not good at.
Yeah.
Of which trade blows with you and I to make ourselves on equal ground. So technically, even though I don't know, let's say I'm better at math than you, and you are better at literature, for example, than me.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're better than me and I'm better than you. We're on equal footing.
Yeah.
It's checks and balances, level playing field.
Yeah. And I mean, even to put it into a more applicable situation for you and I, like, you know, you are much better at editing than I am, obviously, because, you know, you've been doing it forever. And I may potentially be better at the hardware side of things. So like camera gear, video, like just kind of having that video sense or something like that. And that ends up evening out because there are certain things that you can do that I can't do, and there are certain things that I can do that you can't do. But that doesn't mean like anything. That just means that we would work well together, because I mean, this is a perfect example of that, what we're doing right now. Yes. You know, this all started with me having the equipment that you needed and you having the skills that I needed to be able to make something like this work.
Yes, I've already said it before, so I won't say it again, but specialists. We are specialists. We need different people to come together to create something. You can't do it all yourself. No matter what you think, you can't do it yourself.
Right.
No way. I mean, you can, but it'd be shit. Get fucked. But what I'm trying to get at is that that teacher oriented everything around a C, because everybody in that classroom, the idea is that you are not better than the person to your right, and the person to your right is not better than you. Every person sitting down in these chairs, in these desks, in this classroom are equal. Or at least you start equal. No, we are equal. But some of you are better at this specific history, this specific subject, which is history, than the person to your left. And that's fine, because they probably shit on you in math. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the point that he's trying to get is that everybody's going to get a C, and that's fine. You're expected to get a C in his class. But if you really like history, you might get an B. And if you really like history and you have that drive and motivation, you will get that A, because that A is deserved. You are awarded that A because you tried very hard. You grinded it out. You had that drive to put extra effort
Right.
to get that A, because that's what an A is. Extra effort.
It's exceptional.
It's exceptional.
Yeah.
And so is a B. C is fine. C, you did the class. You did the coursework. You paid attention. You entered the discussion. You participated.
Something that a lot of people don't really realize, and this is kind of a mantra that I live by because I'm horrible at doing things in school.
Yes.
C's get degrees.
Yes.
And that is such an important thing that a lot of people don't really realize, is that you are able to get through all of the things that you want to get through. You're able to get the degrees that you want. You're able to do all of the things that you want to do, get all the education that you need to get, just if you get a C.
Yes.
And that is definitely one of the things that is not really taught in school. They give off the impression that you're supposed to be getting B's and A's.
Yes.
And
then if you and then it scales downwards from there.
right. Yeah, it all just kind of starts at 100%.
Yes.
Like if you get 100% in this class, then you get an A. It's not if you finish, like 3/4 of the work, then you will be able to pass this class. Or it's not like if you finish 2/3, if you complete 2/3 of the work, and if you do pretty okay on the final test at the end of the year, then you'll do fine.
Yes.
It's never about that. It's always about like, this is what you need to do to be able to get everything done.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, like, we sit there and talk about how hard college is and all of that kind of stuff, and obviously the workload is a lot different because it's because it's structured differently. Like at least for the schooling that I did, or that I, all of that kind of stuff. It was always like, it's not like stuff was due every day. It was stuff was due at the end of the week. And so you would have a week to get all this stuff done. And then, you turn everything in, and then everything was all hanky-dory, whatever. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the times, especially in high school, things were due like every day. Yes. And so it may not be the quantity of work that is more or less. It's the consistency at which things were due, things had to be turned in, everything like that. And so the time management couldn't necessarily be condensed as much.
That's a good point, because that's also a point I brought up during that stream when I was talking to the homie in chat, is time management. We're 16, 17-year-olds. We don't know what time management is.
Right.
Time management is not something you just do. I mean, you can try it, but here's the thing, you are supposed to try it, because time management is experience.
Yeah.
You can't just be goated and just be like, yeah, I can do time management. No, you can't. At least not right off the bat. Time management comes from doing it a lot and then realizing what works for you and then what works with your schedule. And you won't know that unless you do it more often. So I definitely regret never trying it. Like they always gave us a planner.
Right.
In every year. I regret not even trying to use it, because it definitely would have helped me get more, because I'm doing time management stuff now.
Right.
But if I did that during like high school or middle school or whatever, I feel like frankly, my time management would be better earlier, or even better than it is right now. But the reason why is because, and when I did try time management, I started it when I really needed it, and I don't know how to do time management.
Right.
Right. Because it's as if I was a 15, 16-year-old, same thing. Doesn't matter, because I never did time management prior. So how would I be able to do time management now? We're a bunch of kids and we don't know how to do it. So if you're going to freshman year, or if you're going to middle school, fuck it. If you're in middle school, you're watching this and you're in middle school, first of all, make sure you're wearing headphones. Second of all, try the planner or the calendar that they give you. Well, at least in our schools, they gave us a planner and a calendar every year. I don't know if they do it for other schools, but if not, you got your phone. Bro, there's a calendar on your phone. Put it on. Try it. Give it a shot. Dude, it's free to do. Though this app called TikTok. No, not TikTok. Sorry, I don't use that. You do
do that. I do have a TikTok.
You're pretty bumping. Anyways,
I do have TikTok.
Tick. I use this app. It's basically a to-do list app. But it's also it's a to-do list app, and you can also manage your stuff. And I'm also venturing into different things that are more professionalized. But anyways, TickTick is what I used in the beginning, and I really liked it because since going into college, that helped a ton because it is a to-do list by nature, but you can also schedule things, and you have a calendar, and you can set date deadlines and goals and stuff. So that was really cool. I recommend it. It's a free app. Give it a shot. There's a dark mode, so it's already a good app. It's free. All of you have smartphones. Actually, no. Someone came in. Sorry, tangent. Someone came in at work, and then not at the mall work. I work at another place sometimes, and then there's a front office. And sometimes I have to talk to people in the front office. And I was just a lot of the main thing that would happen is you'd use your smartphone for some of the things that you would do in the front office. And I was explaining to them how to do it. And they're like, oh, I don't have a smartphone. I have a flip phone. I'm like, whoa. Now, I was fascinated by this. I was like, wow. I gave him props. Like, wow, disconnected from, frankly, just toxicity. And I bet he's going home and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm feeling good. Talking to the people I need to talk to, not the people I don't have to talk to. Interacting with the people I want to interact to, not the people that I happen to interact with. That sounds like a vibe.
Honestly, if you really sit and think about it, like, you don't really need to have a smartphone in your pocket when you have a computer at home.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that you really need to do on your phone that would require any type of computing power is like
communicating, talking and texting.
Yeah, or a GPS.
Or GPS. Yeah, honestly, in this day and age, that probably sucks for him. No GPS. Well, yeah, I don't think there's any GPS in the dinosaur phones, but that's besides the point. I'm gonna tie it back to high school now. Watch this transition, right?
Get fucked.
When you graduate high school, all that social ladder that you were trying to figure out what step you're on is gone. A lot of the people you interacted with high school, you don't interact with after high school. Ever.
It honestly is almost a miracle that you and I still talk to each other.
Honestly, yeah, to be honest. I mean, you can call it fate or whatever, but honestly, it's true. It really is. And I'm not just for you and I, for even some friends that we have from high school. But here's the thing. In high school, you're with the same people for 4 years. Generally. Of course, some people leave, some people enter, transfer, whatever that may be. But generally, you're with the same people for 4 years. This is the reason why a social hierarchy is created, because whether you like, we're not stupid, you know. Don't say that there isn't. There is one. You know, we all know there's a social hierarchy that is just created, not obviously by one person or any people at all. It's just there, and it's never going to go away ever. But because it's never going to go away, you can choose to not worry about it because it doesn't fucking exist. Here's the thing, Zach.
And also, it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter because as soon as you get out of high school, bro, because this happened to me. This is why I'm talking about it so much, because I actually cared about that because I'm an idiot. We're all idiots. We're young, dumb high school kids. We're idiots, you know? And this is why I want to have this conversation, because I know this is basically Uneducation, or this is the educational system episode, or the prequel.
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to say this so bad is because this is the number one thing that I hate about high schools and in schools in general before high school is, well, actually, I don't know if it existed in your middle school. I'm so sorry. It kind of did, but not as gruesomely as high school.
Yeah, it definitely existed for us at the middle school that we went to, but it was not even remotely as bad as at the high school.
Yeah, exactly. So it happens, you know, and I'm not talking about the jocks and the nerds. I'm talking about how highly the jocks are compared to the nerds. And where they rest in this social hierarchy that doesn't exist. My camera, god damn it. My camera didn't do anything, actually. Nothing happened.
Yeah, no, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all.
Why don't you pick up? Because I just feel like you should talk.
Yeah, so I definitely agree that the fact that everything is so not necessarily segregated, but separated. Like, the fact that there are some people who you just kind of can't eat lunch with.
Yes.
There are some people that you can't hang out with. There are some people who, you know, they don't want you to sit at their lunch table. They don't want you to be interacting with them in any way. And that's not because you are very much different from that person. That's just because that person has more friends than you, or that person is on the football team. That person is a cheerleader. That person is, whatever it may be. And that has nothing to do with you as a person. That just has to do with one certain attribute that you may have. And like for me, I was in band. I was a fucking band nerd.
Yeah.
And I mean, I embraced it and I met some really amazing people who were a part of that, but people didn't want to hang out with me. People didn't want to have lunch with me. There was literally like a solid 2 years where I just ate in the band room by myself because no one wanted to eat lunch with me.
This is what I'm saying, Zach. I think I don't know if you can tell, Zach, but saying it very out loud sounds pretty fucking stupid. Like, very stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds so... I cannot detail in words how stupid that is. Because everybody is different in their interests. But what I'm trying to say, this prior point I tried to make, is everybody is average. Everybody is equal. Everybody in this school, in your grade, in grades, in the next grade or the grade previous, we're all on the same equal footing. Just because we trade blows with each other, as far as like what our skill sets are and our interests are, and that's fine because that's what makes us all unique.
That's what makes you you. Yeah. That's what makes you individual. That's what makes you different from everyone else on this planet. Because there are not two people who will ever be exactly the same.
No, I mean you can argue that we are basically on the same wavelength on a lot of things, but there are still things that you like that I don't like and I like that you don't like.
Right.
Because we're different people.
Right.
I'm not expected to like anything you like, and you're not expected to like anything I like. Nobody said that. Who said that? Did you say that? No, nobody said. Nobody's there. So they didn't say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Because we're still good friends.
Exactly. And the fact that people have become, okay, I don't want to say people have become, but there are some people who are just so close-minded to the fact that like, oh, you can only hang out with me if you like X, Y, and Z, and that's non-negotiable. Or like, you don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like, who the fuck are you? And it's like, people have put so much significance and so much emphasis on such non-tangible, irrelevant things that it has just become at this point just like a dick measuring contest with metaphorical things that have no real life impact to them.
No, not at all.
And like, you talk to actual people who have actual big boy jobs and do like cool shit. And those are the people that I look up to. Yes. Like, the people who are in a place where I would like to be, those are the people who I look up to. That doesn't mean that they're better than me in any way. They are just in a place in their life that I'm not in, that I would like to be in. And I don't understand how everyone thinks that there are just people who are better than you, because they're not. Like, everyone is created equally. Like, there's nothing that you as a person have that I don't have, that cannot be interchanged between us. Like, there are certain preferences that you have that I don't have. There are certain things that you like that I don't like, but that doesn't make you any better or worse than me in any way, shape, or form. And I don't understand how some people can sit there and think that.
It's because of the environment, Zach. It's forced upon you. You have no choice but to. And even if you think, even I thought so. I thought I didn't care about it, but I did, because when you're in that environment, you're forced to care about it. And you're a kid and you're going through puberty. You don't know what you're not thinking right. You're overthinking. You're overthinking about where you lie. You're overthinking about what friends you have. If your friends are cool, if their friends are cool, why does that matter? Because I'm not saying only care about you. Your peers definitely shape who you are.
Right.
100%. And I think high school is the number one place to get shaped. Very weird wording, but I mean, here is a good example I use in stream. The people that I hung out with a lot in high school, they kind of taught a little bit like this. You kind of had a little step to their voice. Oh, just kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
And now it's protruded onto me a lot.
Yeah.
Very strangely, but at the same time, some of my family talk like that too. So I get a little bit of gangster step in my voice sometimes. Obviously not crazy. I mean, I could if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. But that's just who I hung out with for 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
So you really get shaped through that. And this is why you do need to choose your peers and your friends very carefully, because I know some people, they, you know the bad influence people. Those kids are there in high school.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't hang out with them too much.
Yeah,
but
I mean, okay.
Here's the thing, though. I hung out with some bad influence people too, but they were very good people. Whenever I talked with them, conversed with them, they were very nice people, and they meant very well. They just happened to do a couple things that were kind of, a little yikes.
Yeah.
But they felt they were human. They felt... That's another thing, right? They're labeled whatever that bad. You can imagine. I'm not going to say it, of course, but they are labeled that label, and they did kind of iffy things. But you sit down and talk with them, and they're good people. They have good experience. They have good talks, and they're good friends. You laugh together, you cry together, all that type of stuff.
So the thing that I would say bothers me the most is that you can meet people who do things that you don't like to do. You can meet people who like things that you don't like. You can meet people who are into things that you're not really into. But as long as they're not trying to shove it down your throat, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I've met so many people who have just the complete opposite interests as I do.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that I like them any less. That doesn't mean that they are, like, I consider them less of a friend, but that, that is just something that we just kind of agreed to disagree on. Mm-hmm. And that's totally okay. And you can agree to disagree about so many things in life, and you would be so surprised how much happier you feel at the end of the day. Because if you are sitting there trying to argue every single personal preference that you have with somebody, then you're going to be working in circles and just drowning yourself in so much anger and hatred towards another person. And that's just not worth it to me. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we're not going to talk about politics because
please no.
No, we're not going to.
Let's not.
We're not going to talk about politics, yes. But at the same time, there are so many things in politics that I don't personally agree with that someone else might. But do I consider that person better or worse than me for that? No, of course not.
Not at all.
And that doesn't. There's just no line between the way that people feel about things and who they are. And that's, it all starts in high school. It all starts with the people that you're around. It all starts with, you thinking that you have to fit into this social hierarchy. And that's just not how it works. Like, everyone is in this confined space for the next 4 years, and they have to try to figure out who they are by the end of it. And that is just like...
so bad.
It's so bad. And it just makes me feel really bad when I hear about those people who are just really, really struggling emotionally and mentally in high school. And...
Well, rightfully so, man.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to figure out who they are, but they know who they are. Nobody knows who you are better than you. Up until when you enter high school in America, it's like 14. Yeah, 14. You have 14 years of yourself. You know what you like. You know what you dislike. So what do these people have to say? Why do these people's opinions matter to you?
Right.
You know what I mean? So why is it that, I like anime? Why can't I just wear that on my chest?
Right.
I couldn't for high school.
Right.
Now, frankly, that's changing, but that's besides the point. I'm just saying from my experience, right? I'm just using anime as an example. I couldn't say anything about anime, right?
Right.
I couldn't wear any shirts. Couldn't put it on my. If I put it on my phone wallpaper, I was playing a risky game. I must have really liked that wallpaper,
Yeah.
But as soon as I went to college and I took I went in, and there were people and there was one guy over in the corner wearing a suit and tie, and the other guy some girl in the other corner wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
And then some other guy in the corner is cosplaying. And that was the moment I realized, wow, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares because they're being themselves. You should be yourself too. So at that point, that was a very moment where I was like, that's it. I'm weebing.
Whipping out the anime shirts, damn it.
Yes. I wore it, put it on my phone wallpapers, my iPad wallpaper. I play anime songs on the piano in that piano club. I decided to be myself. And that is why that is gosh. Why can't I just wish high school just it's never going to ever. It's never going to fix itself.
And I know the reason why. And it's because when you're in that age, when you're in that time in your life, you have such a desperate need for acceptance. And at least for me personally, I was willing to do everything and anything that I possibly could to be accepted by the people around me. Mm-hmm. And that's why I did the things that I did. That's why I said the things that I said. That's why I acted the way that I acted, because I wanted so desperately to not feel like I was alone. And as crazy as it sounds, you could be surrounded by 700 other people and still feel like you're all by yourself.
Yes.
And there's nothing more depressing than that. And that's why you have those people who will try so desperately to fit in. And that's why it's almost an expectation for you to do the same, because you fit into one of the categories vaguely. You have a similar interest. You have something in common with the majority of people in this group. That means that you're a part of them. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up for the people around you to decide. And it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I almost didn't do band in high school because I was worried I was going to get bullied for it. Like, my first day of school, I had no music classes. Nothing. Because I was so concerned about the way that other people were going to treat me or look at me that I just didn't want to do it. And thankfully, I ended up changing that. And thankfully, I continue playing music, and now I'm at the position where I'm at now, where, you know, music is one of the most important things in my life. But it wasn't like that before. And it's just so depressing and heartbreaking to think that there are people out there who want so desperately to be themselves, but they feel like they can't because they're afraid of how other people will feel about it. Like,
the dumbest shit.
It's the dumbest shit.
I want this. This is, you know, I'm going to say this right now. We are going to reiterate this in the educational system episode. So apologize for that, but we'll go a little bit more. We'll have a longer slot to talk, I guess.
Yeah.
And then also, now that we've gotten out of our chests, we can think about what we said and not exactly copy and paste, but reiterate. But
it just makes me sad.
It does. It really does. And it sucks that it's the norm, and it's always going to be the norm, no matter what. And it's the only thing you can do about it is not think about it yourself, because it's always going to exist. But you can live fine without it. It's not going to go away. So don't do your best. And it's going to be part of your life no matter what. So do your best, or it's going to be part of your high school life, that is, no matter what. Even if you think it's not, it's going to be, because that's just how it works. When you're, like I said, when you're put in that environment for 4 years, it instills on you no matter what you do. So do your best to not worry about it too much. Wear your opinion on your sleeve. Is that how it goes? Wear your opinions.
Wear your heart on your sleeve.
Wear your heart on your sleeve, and just like I said, man, you know, like, for example, getting bullied and stuff for the things you like, even if it's like kind of quote unquote nerdy or quote unquote weird. What does that mean? What does it mean to be weird?
It's all subjective.
We're
man.
all weird. We all got weird things, man. I found some football friends, and then after college, I found out they like anime. I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't you say anything? You know what I mean? Why, dude? Because we're all weird. One of my favorite characters in anime, I mean, our characteristics or caricatures.
There you go.
Is I love these when they're like big buff dudes, but they have like kind of like cutesy desires, like they like cats and sweets and stuff.
Oh,
that
yeah.
gap is so fucking funny. I love that shit. because it's so funny.
But also it's really accurate too, because you meet people who put on the impression that they're the complete opposite, or like they have the complete opposite interests as they actually do. And like, you know, there are a lot of people who I have met in my time who are just completely covered in tattoos and really scary looking, but they are the nicest people you will ever meet.
Yes,
and
man.
that is a perfect example of why you should never judge a book by its cover. I know that that's super corny. I know that it's really
We've been
stupid.
corny this entire time.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just cliche. It's cliche because it should be true, but it's not true, but it should be true.
Yeah.
It should be true. There's a reason why it's a saying, Zach.
Yeah, there's a reason why there have been so many people saying, like, never judge a book by its cover, because you will be genuinely surprised what's on the inside. And that is so true with literally everything. From the cover of the books that are sitting on your desk to the people who you have ever met in your entire life. And the people that you surround yourself with are important. The people who you decide that you want to spend your time with are important, because your time is valuable. And I'm going to take it back to literally
I knew you were going to. Go ahead.
The beginning.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The beginning of the episode.
Do it.
Your time is important, and time moves on, and it moves on brutally.
There it is. There it is. Good job.
Oh, wow.
The crowd claps. There it is.
What a turnaround that
There
was.
it
Holy
is.
shit.
It's like when the movie said the title in the movie, and they're like, "Oh, they said the thing." He said the movie title. He said the thing. Oh man, you know, we were supposed to talk about like animation and shit. It's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Anyways,
But okay, this is the type of conversation that I'm glad that we were able to have, because not only did it come out literally out of fucking nowhere, but also at the same time, it's something that both of us have been thinking about literally since we got out of high school, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's something that I wish that I knew, and it's something that I wish that everyone who is going through that time in their life, I wish that they would be able to understand that. And if they were able to take even one thing from what we've been talking about for the last 2 hours and make their high school career even a little bit better, you know, that would mean the world to me.
It would, yes. That's why, you know, this is why I want to say this in public. This is why I want it to be documented and for it to be somewhere, even if not a lot of people watch it, or if a lot of people watch it. I don't care. Everything that we explained sounds pretty stupid. The social hierarchy. It's so true, but it sounds stupid when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
It sounds dumb to think about all these sort of validation and all that type of stuff, and it's glorified with the social media type bullshit and all that thing, and that's going to open up another hour, so we're not going to do that. But the more I say it, the more it's hard for a high schooler to understand that, because we were high schoolers and we didn't understand that. So
Right.
I hope that the things that I say as once a high schooler, you know, and I hope that my advice can help another high schooler who's going through it and can't figure it out, because I couldn't figure it out. You couldn't figure it out.
Right.
No high schooler can figure it out. So if I can help maybe one or two high schoolers figure it out, then their life may be a little bit better in high school.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And outside of after high school as well.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, I've told so many people that I want to be a resource for anyone who's going through anything, because there are things that I've experienced in my life that I don't want anyone in the world to experience. And I had to go through those things by myself. And I would never want anyone to have to go through anything by themselves. And like I was saying before, you know, high school is one of those places where you can be surrounded by hundreds of people and feel like you're all by yourself.
it shouldn't need to be like that.
Right. It shouldn't need to be like that. And, you know, I know that in high school, you're trying to mold who you are and become the person that you want to be. But at the same time, you can help other people along the way, you know, like It's like you're running the mile and you see someone trip and fall in front of you. Are you going to stop and help them up, or are you just going to keep on running? A lot of people will just keep on running.
Mm-hmm.
But if you help that person out, you don't know what kind of impact you would have on them, and you don't know what you could have, like, you don't know the effects of what you could potentially do for another person until you do it. And that's, you know, I've said this to all the people who follow me on any social media that I'm on. Like, if you need a person to talk to, I'm here. Like, I've given my phone number to about 4,000 people. Because I literally... I didn't leak my own phone number, but, like, I...
got DOSed.
No, I told people, like, if you need anything, call me. Like, that's what it's about. I want to be a resource for people who need it. Because nobody wants to go through their life struggling, and nobody wants to do it by themselves. Especially when you're in high school, especially when you're going through all the stupid bullshit that high school has, you know? Like, that's just not okay, and I wish that it could just cease to exist, but that's not going to happen. So, if I can help along the way, then I want to.
Yes.
And it just makes me so fucking pissed off and sad.
Yeah, but it is dog eat world. What? Dog eat dog world. Dog eat world. Dog eat the world.
But the world eat the dog.
Eat the dog. We eat the dog. No. Wait, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, I broke that. We were having a moment. But yes, I do know what you mean. I hope that hopefully a high schooler, a middle schooler, or anything below hears this, thinks about it critically, and even considers to use our advice to their high school experience. Even if that's that much, just consider.
Right.
Have it in the back of your mind, and maybe one day subconsciously it'll help affect a decision. But it is your life after all. And you can choose to accept the high school social hierarchy ladder bullshittery, or you can realize that life has a little bit more out there for you than a couple high school relationships, high school friends, high school.
Yeah.
There's more to it.
Yeah.
more to life than just high school.
Yeah. And you will learn once you get out of high school and once you get into the world and understand what it's like. You'll understand that all of us are really fucking weird, but we just keep it to ourselves. And
one day you'll find the people that you can be weird with.
Exactly. And I have found my people. I've found the
As have I.
Yeah. I've found the people who I can just be derpy as fuck with, that I can say a bunch of messed up jokes and just do a bunch of really stupid stuff. But
they're there.
They're there.
You'll find them. You will find them.
Or
they'll find you.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh man, that's crazy.
That's crazy, dude. Oh my god. Wow. But to I guess in summary,
be yourself. Be you. Be yourself. Yep, that's what it is. That's the summary.
I was gonna try to take it to like a little bit more of a serious place than do what you want, be yourself. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't chase your dreams. I wasn't gonna go there, but
oh my gosh!
Sponsored by G Fuel.
Sponsored by G Fuel. I'll take a sip for that.
Oh my gosh, my G Fuel was gone like an hour ago. Oh, there's liquid in here.
Oh, there's melted ice.
Oh hell yeah, dude! G Fuel flavored ice, dude.
Yes. We should just freeze G Fuel and have G. We should end the episode. All right, go ahead.
So, thank you for sitting and listening to us talk about all of this weird craziness that we've been talking about for the last 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's anything that, you know, we can do, the two of us, with the power of hindsight and puberty.
And God and anime.
Yeah. The power of God and anime. If there's anything that we can do to help, you know, if there's any hindsight, anything like that, you know, if you're struggling, let us know. I'm literally always reading the comments on every single video.
We're here.
We're here.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're just people.
We're
and
people just like you.
Yeah.
Just like you. We're like you. All right, bet.
Yeah, we just have a microphone.
And you can get one tonight. I mean, if you want to, of course. All right.
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. If the coffee link down below.
Patreon too.
Yeah,
Because I set
Patreon.
it up.
Woo. If you want to contribute financially, obviously you don't have to. It's optional. If you want to contribute,
Feel free.
feel free.
Otherwise, smash the subscribe button and the like button or the dislike button. Who knows? That's you. You do what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Tell
don't
us.
care.
Tell us how you really feel. I want to see some angry
I want to
comments.
see 10K dislikes on this video.
No.
10K dislikes on this video. Or 10K likes. Who knows?
Yeah.
Either or.
Yeah. I mean, it would still be impressive either way.
It would be pretty impressive.